Oh, you inspire me, man. So for a video for today I wanted to do, and this one I've been actually thinking about for quite some time, and actually had to take some notes because I want to make sure I cover everything. So if I'm looking down, it's not that I wrote a script. And this was hard exercise, was who are 3 people that inspire you? And perhaps inspire you the most, or the most recently, or in your mind the most, if you will. You know, either through life or had the biggest impact recently or in your life. It doesn't have to be recent, but something in your life. And I really had to think long and hard about this, because I could come up with a list of 10 people who inspire me. You know, my family helps me inspire me. My wife did different things. I grew up in the church, so you know, Jesus inspires me in certain ways, and missionaries that I've known really inspired me. It just, but so I sat down and decided at what kind of level I wanted the biggest impact. And one of them is I've known all my life, and the other 2 have been within the last year and a half, and had the biggest, that I can see the largest impact. And so now some people are saying, wait a minute, I've watched some of his videos, I bet he's going to grab for a book right now. Whoa, yeah, you're right. So what about her, Dani Johnson? This is an awesome book. I got it for free off her website. I need to read it another 17,000 times. It's not, I mean, I've read it twice and it doesn't, the spine's still not broken because I'm that way. I need to highlight stuff, and no. I had to take her off the list. She's about 5 or 6, I'd say. Her story is unbelievable. No, it's not unbelievable. It's believable and so awesome. If you haven't read this book, I don't know what your problem is. Do you have a pulse? What she does for other people, she has a heart for others. It's incredible. So, wait a minute, he's going to pull for another book. I know him. What about this Darren Hardy guy? Not Dan Harris or Dave Harris or whatever. I think it was Dave Harris. No. I'd put him probably about 15th or 16th. This is a very good book, Compound Effect. It's got some good stuff in it. Just the building momentum and keeping momentum is very important. So recently, my boss gave us these books, and I've read these, and I need to read them again. It's like it's 2 books, but it's 1 book, because you can flip it over, and it's different. And Roberta Chimsky-Matuson, she didn't so much inspire me as kind of help me to try and be inspired. Live inspired, I guess is another way. But it's for managers, and it's for managing up. I mean, managing your manager, and managing down, managing your people. It's a very interesting book. Some things in it I agree with, some things I'm not sure I understand, and some things I don't agree with at all. But hey, that's the whole point, is to kind of take all this information, make it yours, and make your situation better. So there's 3 people and it isn't. Great. There's actually 4 or 5 people. So I had to write some of these down. So Gregg Davison is number 1. I met Gregg a little over a year ago, and to hear his story was like, oh, that's great. But I've heard stories like that before. He's a business leader. Of course, he's gone from nothing to something, and he's very good at sales. He's very good. But there was something else there that until I got to know him, until I got to hear a little bit deeper in his story, well, I was like, oh my goodness. It's not that I wanted my story to be I didn't want to base my story on his story, or his story become my story. It was when he was talking about marketing, and he actually inspired me to start doing these videos. And if you look at some of my early videos, they're more of 7 tips for video marketing. There's some other things, I did some. Great, they were very good. I mean, the 7 tips, I have had people that are into marketing that look at my 7 tips for video marketing and say it's really a good video. But it wasn't my story. And so the things that, saying this one here, discover, he led me to want to discover my story. I didn't even know my story. oh, I'm an Army brat, I've moved around, I've done this, I've done that, I've done MLM, various types, I've been in Amway, I've been in Herbalife, I've been in blah, 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 you know, I went to the University of Tennessee, studied computer science. That's all boring. It's my story, but it's not, nobody wants to hear that, right? So that want to tell my story I never had. Being an introvert, I just wanted to sit in a corner and watch people or listen or ignore people altogether. I just wanted to sit in the basement in the computer. But when he put into me a desire to share who I am and share my growth and share where I'm going and share what I want to do, what I really live for, and really discover who I am and discover, I mean, I've always liked helping people. I've been on ski patrol. I started ski patrol in 1990. I was in Boy Scouts when I was growing up. And it's not like I want to help lots of people. And I don't want to go on a mission field, and I don't want to be an evangelist or anything like that. I'm not going to be a doctor, nurse. It's more of a one-on-one, very close. And that became my story, and that's what inspired me. So, and I still struggle with that path. He put me on a completely different path than where I was going. Opened my eyes to lots of things. Let me help me think about lots of stuff. And I'm still on that path, and I'm still dealing with that change. It's not so much a change of who I am; it's just a change of direction and using my abilities on that new direction. So, the second person, and this one I had to look up her real name because I knew all her several aliases, and I'm going to call her by her real name, and you can look up her aliases. So Zuzana something, Majovera, no, yeah, Majorarova, no, Majorova, I don't know, Majorova. Anyway, she's from Czech Republic. She's done lots of different things. Some people like her, some people don't like her. How in the world is this person? She's on YouTube now as Zuzka Light. She was on Body Rock. She had her own thing. She had her own thing going. She was married. You know, she was really living life, and she did videos with her husband. And I mean, the workouts were really interesting and things that you wouldn't think about. And then it all fell apart. It just went poof. And now she's built herself back up. And this is the part that's inspired me is her perseverance. It's like, I'm gonna start again. She's basically starting from nothing. She's sharing an apartment with 4 people in LA. I mean, it's her personality. She's very likable, but she's also very personable and very determined. So that was part. The biggest part was actually her workouts. I was reading through some stuff in Ironman magazine, was changing some of my workouts because I had plateaued. I'm trying to go up, and I've actually gone down, but I've gotten thinner and more muscular, and I know you can't really tell on there, but I mean, I didn't have anything close to like that for a long time. You know, I was 210, I wanted to get to 220. I mean, my goal is like 230, 240. I'm in my mid-40s trying to gain weight. I know I'm nuts. But when she simplified some of her workouts, and her new workouts, she hardly uses any equipment at all. And this idea of just this continuous thing. So I took some ideas from the 4X stuff that I was reading on Ironman, and I took these ideas of this continuous workout, and holy cow, that's when I unplateaued. I was at a plateau. I couldn't go up or down. I mean, maybe a pound or two, but nothing. And I went down in weight, but I went way up in strength, and now I'm working on building that. And what I've noticed is I've started looking at other workouts and other professionals and things, bodybuilding.com, things, places like that. And this is the type of workouts they're talking about. It's not the old way of bulk up and then lean down. That's just insane. It's to get rid of the body fat and then build the muscle at the same time. And so you'll kind of go like this. And anyway, so what originally inspired me was changing my workouts. Then she kind of disappeared for a while, and then she showed back up. I really got inspired to change my workouts, and her perseverance and on a personal level, it's like, you know, that's also inspired me a little bit. The main thing was on a physical level, if you will, for physical workout type things. So I had a kind of a business awakening and a fitness awakening, and then the final one is my dad. Now I was really struggling with to put my dad and my grandfather here, because my grandfather had an influence on me later in life, not as a kid, and my dad, he's kind of a product of his father. So why my dad? A lot of people say your dad. He got drafted, I don't know, I think my parents were married 2 months, something like that. He got drafted in 1966. Actually, his draft number came up, so he knew hey, I got to do this. And unlike all these crazy people, these people who don't want to support their country and just complain and bitch and moan, he didn't fly to Canada. He didn't go, he didn't try, he didn't burn his draft card, he didn't do any of that stuff. Even in the midst of all this crap going on, he had an associate's degree, he was trying to work his way through college. That's the first thing. Let me back up a minute. He lived outside of Miamitown, Ohio, in Taylor's Creek, and basically until the day he got married, he lived in the same house. And he was working his way through school. He's a civil engineer is what he was studying. And he had an associate's degree. He was working for the highway department, building bridges and stuff like that. And he decided, hey, I'm getting drafted. He went down and volunteered when he knew his draft number was coming up. And so he had a little bit of control over his destiny. He went through some training to some other things. They tried to make him a pilot, a helicopter pilot. That didn't work out. They sent him through OCS, and he decided he was going to make a career out of this. So he goes through OCS, becomes an officer. And OCS is like the lowest way you can become an officer, except in extreme war situations like World War II. So Vietnam wasn't that bad compared to World War II, where thousands of guys were getting killed a day. So he decided to make a career out of that. And most OCS officers don't go too far. So the military sent him back to get his bachelor's. That's how come we ended up in Knoxville, Tennessee a couple times. They sent him to finish his master's degree. They sent him to Army War College. He taught Army ROTC and military science, that type of thing. He taught at the tank school when he wasn't even in armor. He would literally learn it and teach the next day because he has a teaching thing. And the thing is he had a very big love for photography. And when my brother and I were growing up, he shared this passion with us. He shared, how to do different things, what things meant. He had enlargers. He helped us with black and white. And he retired from the Army after 21 years. He basically got a new career. And it's just his attitude and perseverance have really inspired me over the years, and it's really been helpful. So those are the three people that have inspired me in my life. Who's inspired you in your life? Put in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Let's chat about it. Maybe you'll make a video about it. See ya.